Hello everyone, it's Lisa from Lizzie's Creative Cabin, and today I thought I'd take you on a journey through my journey of journaling from where I started to how I got to where I am now. And you can see I've got a big pile of stuff here, which as I'm talking to you, I'm just going to tidy up a little bit. I started off with, I guess, planning, not journaling. It wasn't about journaling, it was about planning. And I started off in the Filofax, good old Filofax. And I've got some of my old Filofaxes here. This is from Paper Chase actually, but the others are Filofax. I haven't got all the ones that I used to have. And the ones that I have got are empty. And apart from these, I've just got some blank paper and some stuff. The reason they're empty is because I didn't keep any of it. I mean, can you believe it? I've thrown it all away. I am so angry with myself for doing it, but I did it. So I used to use these for planning, and this is my favourite. This, as most of you will know, I guess, is the Filofax Malden personal size in the ochre leather, and this is quite an old one. I've had this a long time and it feels gorgeous. I love it. And I just use them with your general Filofax pages for planning my time, planning projects, whatever. And I used to put some things in that I gathered along the way, like the odd postcard or receipt or ticket or something. And so I didn't see it as journaling though. It was mainly about planning, recording diary, that sort of thing. So as you can see, I've got a few here. I had a few more over the time, and that's because I used to get bored and I used to change it up. Things weren't quite right, change the size. I've had A4, I've had A5, I've had personal, I've had pocket, I've even had a mini one actually once. And nothing really held my attention. I didn't particularly like rings because they take up so much space, and the page that you end up with is quite small in the end. And you've got this big folder which to carry with you everywhere is a bit of a pain. So I used to watch, even then, back then when I was just using the Filofax. Now I started in the 80s, but I went all the way through to probably about 10 years ago, a bit sooner actually. And I was watching lots of videos about Filofaxing and thinking, you know, this isn't quite working for me. I'm going to try something else. And I saw a lot of videos with moleskines in. Now, I love these. I've had these a lot, you can see. I still use one now, but I'll come to that in a minute. I use them because I like the layout. So if I go back to an old one here, you can see the layout, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with it, is you've got the week here, and then you've got a page here for your notes and planning. And I used to, even back then, used to stick stickers and tickets and things in. And that developed. So the last one that I had as a standalone was this one. I've decorated it with stickers, you can see. And in here, there's quite a lot of additional stuff. Now, for me, I was still just planning. I wasn't journaling, even though it started off planning, and then I was recording in it as well what I was doing. And I was keeping tickets in here and receipts from meals, anything that I picked up, I was sticking it in here. So in effect, it's the beginnings of a junk journal here. So you can see how I have developed from pure planning in a Filofax to actually keeping a rudimentary junk journal. I love this. And as I say, I was watching lots of YouTube videos, and when I was watching the YouTube videos, I was finding that a lot of people were talking about Hobonichi. Now, I had no idea what Hobonichi was. I'd never heard of it until I started watching these videos. And I thought to myself, that's nice. I might give that a go. The Hobonichi cousin was one that a lot of people seem to be using. And the thing about the Hobonichi cousin is that it is laid out in a very similar way to Moleskine. it's got the week down here and then a blank page there. And of course it's got the gorgeous paper that you have in the Hobonichis. And it's expensive, don't get me wrong. I mean, these are expensive, really, I suppose. These are even more expensive. But I thought, you know, I'm going to give it a go. And I kept that going for 2 years. You can see that there. This one's very similar. But I was also still putting things in, sticking things in, making lists, planning, logging everything I did. And it was working for me, except for one thing, and that was the size of it. Because I've been used to carrying these with me everywhere, and they fitted into even the smallest of bags. So, you know, if I'd got a bag that's literally not much bigger than this, I wasn't getting this in it. So I was ending up leaving it at home, which I'm not an electronic person. I don't use the diary on my phone. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like technology. I use technology. But when it comes to planning and journaling and things like that, it has to be paper. I'm a paper person. And so I want to take it everywhere with me because I need to check things all the time. I'm quite a busy person. I mean, I'm retired now, but I'm still really busy. Excuse me. So I was finding that these were great, but they were just a little bit too big for me. But at the same time, when I was watching people with these, I was seeing that people were using the Hobonichi Cousin. Now, the Hobonichi Cousin is another step up, A in size, B in price. So I'm thinking, do you know what? I'd love to keep a journal, though, a proper full-on journal on its own and have a separate diary. So I thought, do you know what? Perhaps I could do that and have two things. I've always been somebody that wanted everything in the same place, but then I started asking myself, why? I don't need to do that. I don't need to do it. It's two different things. But equally, I don't want to spend all of that money on a Hobonichi Cousin and find out after a month that it's too much of a commitment for me, because because of the layout, you are keeping your weekly layout, your monthly layout, but you also got a daily page. And I can't be doing with blank pages. So I knew that if I had one, I'd have to keep filling it in. I didn't know if I could commit to it. So I thought, what can I do to give it a go without spending the money? So I thought, I'll buy myself something that is cheaper, but with a similar layout, and just try it out before I commit to spending the 50 odd pounds or 60 pounds, whatever it is, for the Hobonichi Cousin. I'll buy something else. So I went onto eBay and I was looking for something that was A5 with a vertical layout with space for daily pages. And I found this. I mean, it's not got that lovely paper in that the Hobonichi has got, but this, because the year had already started, cost me something like £3 on eBay. It's Bezend, I think you pronounce that. And because I was starting part the way through the year, I'd got a load of pages at the front that I didn't need to use. And also there were some pages at the back that came blank. So I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm going to give it a go, because I wasn't sure whether I wanted an art journal or a junk journal, or what I needed, what I wanted. Turns out it was a combination of both, I think, because what I've done in here is I've logged holidays and trips and things like that, days out, weeks away. I've stuck things in, I've put photos in, and that was a trip to the National Gallery. I've done artwork in there. You name it, I've tried it. That was a trip we did to Poland, to Krakow. And then I'd still got this chunk here, which had the monthly layouts, like the Hobonichi Cousin, and the vertical layout, and I was able to do that. I'm going to do a flip through of this, so I won't show you too much of it at the moment. And then at the back I did artwork and some longer thoughts and some collage. So I discovered very quickly that I was really enjoying this, but of course I wasn't committing to every single day in here because there wasn't enough space. I was doing the weeklies of a day in the weeklies every day of the week, but not the full page. But I thought, you know what, I think I can commit to it. So I moved on from that and bought my first Hobonichi Cousin. Now this was the Avec, I bought the Avec, the two-parter, because I knew that I would stuff it full of stuff. And I'd read on Unheard, on the YouTube videos I was watching, that if you're the sort of person that likes to stuff your journals with loads of things, then you're probably better off getting the Avec. So I did, and I kept it up, all of the daily pages, I kept it up for those 6 months, and my, was it a commitment. I hadn't quite realised how much time it would take up. And it wasn't even necessarily the time. It was the knowing what to put in there, the struggling with what shall I put in today. I haven't got anything extra to say. I've not been anywhere, but I can't leave a blank page. That would drive me mad if I had blank pages. So it was this constant having to find things to put in. I have done a flip through of this one if anybody's interested. The video is on here. So after 6 months, I decided, do you know what, this isn't working for me, and I sold on eBay the second part of the year. Now, I love the paper, the Hobonichi paper. I have carried on using the vertical weekly layout. The monthly layout I wasn't fussed with. So what I did was I got a straightforward A5 Hobonichi notebook, and it's just got blank pages. So what I do, that's this week, what I do is I just mark out the verticals and use it in exactly the same way. And then if I've got something happening, I'll do a page for it, or 2 pages, or whatever. I don't log holidays in here though, because what I'd at the same time been seeing on YouTube was junk journals. Now, this is when my eyes were really opened. I have seen it a lot and belonged to a lot of YouTube groups in the past, followed a lot of people, and I still follow them now. But it was the junk journaling community that really opened my eyes, and I've discovered that this is actually my one true love. So this is an example of one of my junk journals. I am only junk journaling holidays. We have quite a few holidays. We're very lucky. We're retired and we have quite a lot of holidays. So I do know we're very lucky, but that gives me lots to journal about. And I haven't done a flip through of this one. I will do at some point. But I love this. I absolutely love it. I will continue doing this for as long as I can. But the question now I'm asking myself is this the combination that I want? Now, what you also need to know is that I have this. Now, this is my planner, I suppose, my diary. And it is a Filofax Kensington pocket-sized cover with the rings removed. And I bought this second-hand from eBay. It's lovely. It's an old one. And inside I've got my trusty Moleskine, and this I use as a diary. Now I'm starting to think, do I want this and this, or do I want this and this and this, or do I want this and this and not this? And I'm thinking that's the answer. I'm thinking I could go back to doing what I was doing with the these when I was sticking things in. Probably go back to this sort of level of doing it, and I can use this in here, of course, and I can take it everywhere with me, and I can put the things in on the go and use it as a diary to start with, and then when I get to that time I'll be logging things in here rather than in here, because this still does take up quite a bit of time. If I do that and then carry that in there, take it everywhere with me, and then use the junk journaling principles to journal for my holidays, and I can do that for a year. And if I don't like it, it doesn't matter. I can go back to something else. There's no problem with changing. Stops you getting bored. I'm changing constantly. You can see that from all of these things. So I don't know. I've still got plenty of time to think about this, because let's face it, we're only in May, and I am committed to do this till the end of the book or the end of the year, whichever comes first. And I've already got this year's one of these, so if I run out of this, I can continue in here and then just use this for junk journaling. I think that might work for me, at least for the foreseeable future. What do you think? Am I barking up the wrong tree? I don't know. But as I say, I've still got plenty of time to make the decision. But it was getting these out for you to show you, and looking at this one in particular, and I'm thinking, do you know what? I absolutely love this one. The other thing that I did in here was I journaled. I did my December journal in here, and it was too much for it really. So this year I'm going to do a separate December journal along the lines of my holiday journals as well. So I've not got to worry about anything like that in here. And I think that will sort me out. So it'll be this, this, and none of this. What do you think? Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.